Greetings from sunny South Africa in the city of Cape Town. It's currently spring, so all the flowers are out, starting to bloom, and it's a beautiful day for a walk. And I wanted to take the opportunity to chat about something quite near and dear to my heart, which is rationality and why I think it's limited. It was Immanuel Kant, that all-famous philosopher who's considered one of the greats, who said all those hundreds of years ago that we as humans are called to answer questions by our own nature, which by some hilarious set of circumstances we are unable to answer with our rational capabilities and our rational faculties. I myself used to be a hardcore militant new atheist, as they were sometimes called, and I took a view that science was sort of the penultimate way to look at the world, and that reason was beautiful, right? Anyone who's read a bit of Dawkins or Hitchens, Daniel Dennett, or of course Sam Harris, and some of the scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Carl Sagan, who all say that science in reality is beautiful. I think Dawkins even called it poetic, the poetry of reality, right? But as I matured and got a bit older and read some philosophers like Immanuel Kant, and also confronted my own issues with an exclusively scientific worldview, I realized that rationality, when, at least for myself, turned inwards, has to admit its limitations, right? I mean, we have to first give reason and science its due credit, right? It's as I think the psychiatrist and author Ian McGilchrist said, science is indeed golden, but it cannot tell us everything, right? If you want to know what birds live in this park or in your area, you can consult a scientific journal, right? If you want to be able to get in a car that works and goes forward, you've got to understand, you've got to have someone who understands engineering and physics and science in order to make that happen reliably for you. God forbid you get sick and you need medicine. It's science which will be there to help you, right? But as Kant said, there are some questions which we must answer, we're called to answer, where science finds its limit, right? Like, what happens after death? It's very relevant. Can you be in love with life? Can life be an adventure? What is beauty? What is love? What is goodness? What do you say to a sick child to comfort them? That don't worry, the sun will eventually expand and consume Earth, and really your meaningless speck of existence on this rock floating in the vacuum of space is, in the end, amounts to nothing, so you might as well enjoy the ride. No, there's something deeper than that. Back to Immanuel Kant, he said that there's two ways of conceptualizing the world and existence, and one is as a phenomenon, i.e. what we feel through our senses, and secondly, and perhaps more importantly, noumenon, which is that reality which exists in itself, right? And we know in everyday experience that while we sputter and try to shape our experience in this world and ultimately do make errors and fail, we know that our view of reality is constantly corrected for errors. We're constantly finding out more about reality as it truly is. And so I think when we take reason and science to answer the big questions, it's sort of like taking a a hammer and a screwdriver to a meeting with the architect. You know, you need these tools to build a house, but those are not the right tools for those questions, put it that way. And so, yeah, for me, realizing that science is not the be-all and end-all, and that there's a grander mystery to life, has been something that has been so enriching for me. And I wonder what you think. I mean, do you still think that science can derive morals and that we should rely solely on reason to live and to conclude on what it means to be a human in this world and in this universe? Or do you take the view that it is limited like me? And what does that mean for you? I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you have any thoughts. So anyway, I'm going to head back now because the sun is starting to set. But thanks very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.